get along. Jay Morton, and the name of the song was First Began. And I hope you did enjoy that track. And now we're going to be, I will be moving on to the current phase of what happened this week and what didn't happen and who said what, who didn't say what. So, yes, let's just get right into it. Okay, so as I had mentioned earlier on the show when the show opened, in the first segment, I did mention that on Saturday there was a shock attack by Hamas on Israel, and basically the Palestinian militants launched a surprise land, sea, and air attack from Gaza, killing hundreds and infiltrating into Israeli territory. And then, so basically, the shock attack, which took place on Saturday by Hamas, had led to the deadliest day in the decades for Israel. And it comes after months of surging violence between Palestinians and Israelis, with the decades long conflict now heading into uncharted and dangerous new territory. So, questions are also swelling over how the entire Israeli military and intelligence agencies appeared to be caught off guard in one of their countries where security failures. Because surely, there has to be some tips that you get, from people that, that are basically, that are on the ground, because the whole reason to have intelligence people on the ground is to get information and stop attacks or any threat to your country or to a whether a president, some prominent person, to basically circumvent that so that it doesn't happen and it doesn't take place. So I'm not sure what really happened there. Surely there is a maybe their intelligence are not as as efficient. I don't know, but surely something definitely went wrong. Something definitely went wrong. I don't know what, but something definitely went wrong there. So yeah, so I think they're still counting the fatalities from that, and basically even the president of Israel, Netanyahu, also, made comments that, what, this thing now is going to be one of those wars. Basically, he's basically declaring war, in not so many words. So yeah, if you have friends, family, people like colleagues that are in Israel, please keep them in your prayers, because it's not good. The pictures that I'm seeing circulating on the different news networks, it's definitely not good. And you wonder why this war hasn't stopped. I mean, Kwasirayeli, of all places, I don't know why. I mean, I remember there was a documentary that I was watching called Spy Ops, and it was talking, one of the episodes was focusing on Palestine and Israel. There's this so-called, it's not like FBI, it's like more like your KGB operative, kind of. It's like special agents. It's called the Mossad, basically in Gaza, Israel. And one of the attacks that happened, there was the Olympics in Germany the 1 year, and then I think it was in 1970 something, and their athletes were attacked, and but long story short, they hunted down, and Ababandu, that were the attackers, apparently they were Palestinians, and the results of that basically brought Yasser Arafat, who was the Palestinian prime minister at the time, and the then Israeli prime minister together, and they went to the States, where they met the then president. I think it was Bill Clinton. And yeah, so seemingly they were talking, there were peace talks. So I don't know, like, somehow there has to be a stop to this wars that are ongoing for years and years and years and years. And then that is the current news flash, this one for Israel and Palestine. And then moving along, during the week, I came across a news article that says the EFF's Floyd Shivambu was cleared of VBS Bank saga, but he is to get a salary cut because, according to the committee, I think it's the ethics committee, he didn't or basically they say Ushibambo violated item 10.1.1.1 of the Code of Ethical Conduct for failing to disclose financial interests for the 3 payments he received from his brother's company. I'm sure we all remember the VBS saga. It was something like big, and unfortunately, the people that get affected the most is the people that that are not so financially well off, but they put their monies into that building society, and people decided, what, we're gonna make it our ATM. And that's actually sad. It's very sad. But hopefully they'll be brought to book and be able to somehow recover some of the money that they took from the bank that was meant for the people who had put their hard-earned money into that bank. And then we unfortunately got the news on Wednesday that I think it was on Tuesday, and then again on Tuesday, that the petrol was gonna be going up at midnight on Wednesday. And I remember I was driving from work, going home, and I needed to buy a loaf of bread, and I didn't want to go to the shops, like to, the retail shops. So I went to the convenience shop there at the garage next to my house. And the cars, like, people are filling up, they're filling up. I don't know, it's like, it's sad, guys. Petrol is so expensive. My car, I can tell you, like, my car used to be a full tank when petrol was still, like, it hadn't gone up. My full tank used to be 600, and if nyani ke ndiye ndangena nako reserve, like, I mostly do, it would go to 700. Ngoku it's like, yeah, and then it was 900, and then now it's 1,000 and something. But I think basibulala nje, like, badly, 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 because cost of living is very high, very, very, very high. And then maybe umntu should start cycling now. Just get a bike and then you just cycle to and from work. Like, it's not as safe as it used to be on the streets. So, or maybe get a motorbike. I don't know. Like, I think abantu are gonna start working from home, like, quite a lot now, because you're gonna want La Fuldeng Ifakile to last you at least 2 weeks. We stretch it just a bit, and it's too expensive. Like, if you're like, now, me and my partner were saying, if you if you put in a full tank, make sure that you fill up before you fike half. Like, when it's between 3/4 and going to half, fill up then, so that at least it's still sitting paku full tank. I don't know if there's it's if there's something to gain, but yeah, it's like, ngoku awufuni nothini, ngaske ubhabhe if you could. Maybe muscles ngoku if besikwazi ubhabha. And then I did touch on Kaizer Chips venturing into the food business by having Ama Chips. So the jury's still out on that one, and we're gonna if we do come across, I'm gonna tell Luput Lester as well that we should try these chips. Surely, yeah, we should. Yeah, tell you whether Zimnandi. But yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, our taste buds are not the same, so you cannot really hold us accountable if we're saying they're too nice or whatever our verdict is. And then moving right along, so the SABC Bill of 2023, which proposes changes to the TV license fee collection scheme, has been approved by the cabinet. While the details of the new bill remain unclear, there are talks of TV licenses being scrapped and replaced by a ring-fenced tax regime to be implemented by SARS. I think they need to break that down for us because once kungene usazi, yeah, yeah, that brother usazi, yeah. I'm sure wonke umuntu has had experience nayo, so I'm not sure how they're gonna go about lento yet yes TV licenses, but yeah, I think there should be other options besides lena, but maybe uh, due to their feasibility study, maybe they felt ukuthi, you know what, this is going to be the best solution. I don't know if it is the best solution, but if cabinet has agreed, the cabinet has agreed. And then the Higher Education and Training Minister, Blane Nzimande, has served notice of his intention to place UNISA under administration. This on the recommendation of an independent assessor, Professor Temba Musia, who found financial and other maladministration at the university. The minister says he delayed the decision for more than a month. And apparently that delay was caused by the non-response by the university, who basically just kept on going business as usual, and they continued with their core business, and they didn't reply back to the minister. So there's a lot. I'm not sure, like when you when there's financial and maladministration at the university, like sube kutheni ukuze you start now tapping into the university's funds, because surely if there's surplus funds, why don't you help those people that are unable to afford, or have a special program, like some sort of what is the word now? But that course before you go into a course, that yeah, that one. Maybe introduce it maybe like to grade 9s, I mean to grade 11, so that they like, something, some initiative of some sort, if there's just too much money, they feel good, what they need to bazisikele, might as well do an initiative that is going to benefit other people. And then during the course of the week, another tremor hit Gauteng, and this time it was in parts of Soweto and Roodepoort. And the quake monitors have placed it at a magnitude of 3.0. So I think it's a discussion that we need to have. There's earthquakes, there's like tremors that are in like in Joburg, like I'm not sure Gauteng, what is happening. And I always say, one day we'll wake up and there won't be Gauteng, especially like, your old Joburg. Like Sofika is just a hole. Like what happened, like in the city center a couple of months back. It's scary because now when you go to Joburg, you're gonna think twice about, oh my gosh, I mustn't go to a certain area, and so you kind of move more to your north than going to your central and your south, and so yeah, it's very scary. So hopefully there's some people looking into it and somehow try to find a solution, to that. And then Undosi, the police minister, Ubheki Cele, will be taking under review by the ruling by Parliament's Ethics Committee that found him guilty of breaching the MP's Code of Ethical Conduct. The minister was found to be at fault for losing his cool at a community meeting where he told anti-crime activist Ian Cameron to shut up during SEP's Imbizo in Guguletu last year. I don't know if people have forgotten, but I remember seeing that clip. It was making rounds, and you like the way he was so angry, minister, it's like kakhle kakhle if being ordinary citizen in like you can picture abatata banomsindo xa kukho ii-meetings zabahlali uqonda uba umntu umfuna esiqwini or something. And as much as Ian was raising valid points, they were valid. I mean, we cannot not say that they were valid. However, so when you're in a position of authority, there are certain things or certain reactions that you must guard against, where sometimes you're having a bad day and people maybe are accusing you of not doing what you're supposed to be doing for whatever reason, why it is not happening the way that is supposed to be happening. But always keep your cool, because now you're going to the ethics committee and so yena no Floyd bakwinoti corner this week with the ethics committee. So hopefully there's remedial action that they need to to do in order to prevent such to be happening. And to the electricity minister, Ugo Siento Ramokgopa, aims to to end. Oh, okay. So basically, the electricity minister says by mid-2024, we could see an end to blackouts and that more generating units are coming online, which has led to increased generation capacity. And Ramokgopa has also revealed that South Africa will receive the first consignment of power equipment from Chinese companies as early as next week, which is next week is this coming week. So hopefully, Minister, we're gonna hold him to his word. Bana by aim yakhe kuthiwa mid-2024 that we'll see an end to the blackouts. So we are watching like sibukele. But I must say, Shem, I must comment that we haven't had too much load shedding in the past couple of weeks. We've had a break, and at least yabona ikhona i-difference eyenzekayo somewhere, somehow. I'm not sure what they're doing right, but they must continue doing it. And then Social Development Minister Lindwe Sisulu has launched the Child Poverty and Child Support Grant Review, which offers a comprehensive review of child poverty and the impact of the grant, and consider the impact of inflation and rising food prices. So I'm not sure how they're going to do it or why they're doing it. Okay, why the why? Okay, basically, and cost of living is high. Cost of living is high. So where it's right for ezinye izinto to be reviewed. However, I don't know, there's a lot that needs to be done, in the economy to bring food prices down, because I see Afa guys, you have 1,000 and like I only have like maybe one plastic bag or two plastic bags the most, if you're lucky. Ibufike kukho special ngela xesha. So yeah, I think it's a good initiative. So we are awaiting to hear more of the review that the minister is doing on the child support grants. And then moving on to international news, moving further afield. So Elon Musk's social media platform X, which was formerly Twitter, has stripped headlines from news articles shared by users in a move likely to further worsen relations with media groups. So the tycoon has long railed against the legacy media and claims X is a better source of information. Yabona ke i-disruptor, nansi i-disruptor lo bhuti hayi jonga uyadisruptor straight, hayi shem. Yeah. But maybe there's method to the madness that is he's creating. And then there was a Nobel Peace Prize that was awarded on Friday to imprisoned activist Najee Muhammadi for her fight against the oppression of women in Iran, many of whom are removing their hijabs, despite a harsh crackdown. So Muhammadi has spent much of the past 2 decades in and out of jail for her campaign against mandatory hijab for women and the death penalty. Yeah, it's said that in certain countries, women are being like oppressed and being forced to absolutely cover up and I'm hoping that at some stage, the people that are like forcing these rules, they kind of, review their decisions. And because at the end of the day, we need women in power. We need women because women basically, like there's nothing that can be done without women in any sphere of life or in any sphere of business. So congratulations to Najee Mohammadi for her Nobel Peace Prize, which she was awarded. And then US President Joe Biden said on Friday he may meet with Chinese leader Xi Jinping in San Francisco in November as Washington and Beijing push to reset ties, but added that nothing has been scheduled as yet. So there are strained relations between China and the US. So hopefully, if they do, rekindle that relationship and meet and talk, hopefully, something good can come out of it. And then on more entertaining news, so DJ Black Coffee has achieved a historic milestone by becoming the first South African DJ and to headline a performance at the iconic Madison Square Garden in New York. And apparently he did pull it off, it was a successful show. And kudos to him and being an international DJ because Madison Square, I mean, you talk of like international stars, like you talk of US stars mostly because I don't recall hearing anyone who is not from America. And okay, with the exception of your uh George Michael. Oh my gosh. George Michaels, who is obviously UK born and was a UK musician, but it's always been like those type of artists that you see performing at Madison Square. I remember, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which album it was, but Jay Z. I think it was the Blueprint where he performed with Linkin Park. Yes, and that was in Madison Square. So yeah, so congratulations to the man. And then I did mention that Ireland did beat Scotland last night. And then Amapaka Baka, they did retain the MTN 8 Cup. Once again, they beat East Sundowns on penalty shootouts last night. So it was pandemonium, when it came to fans as a Orlando Pirates. So congratulations to them. And, better luck next time for the other teams. And that is a wrap from the news desk. And hopefully, there's going to be more positive news coming through during the course of the week. So I'm not sure if people have seen the newspaper article on the Dispatch of a granny and umzukulwana wakhe that got lost, and I haven't really seen any update on that because I think I read the article on, was it on Friday? Yes, but it was published on the Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So I haven't had any updates. So hopefully they are found alive because when apparently the granny has dementia and then the grandchild is like 2 years old and they have this dog that always follows them around. So apparently the dog came back, I think the next day after they went missing. So I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, so there was still a search for them. And yeah, so hopefully by God's grace, they are found alive and they haven't been harmed. So yes, these things do happen. And yeah, so I think most of the stories for this past week have been covered. And at 4, from 4 till 4:30, we are going to be conversing in our heart to heart with Mr. Chona with regards to a letter that he wrote to the governor of the Reserve Bank on comments that he made. You know, as someone of his stature, it was, yeah, very shocking. And apparently, he's been named Imambara of the Week for the comments that he did about the poor. So stay tuned because 4 o'clock till 4:30, we do have Mr. Solomze Chona, and we are going to be dissecting and breaking it down what prompted him to write that letter, what he wrote in that letter, and what type of expectation he has in response to his letter. So more of that coming up at 4 o'clock, between 4 and 4:30. But for now, we shall go to a song and we shall be back.